Becky from Lessons by the Lake. Today I'm going to be answering the question, what is an interactive read-aloud? Now this can be interpreted many different ways, so I'm going to talk about how I use it in my classroom with my students. So my goal of an interactive read-aloud is to engage my students in the story, to develop an understanding of the skill or the reading strategy that I'm modeling, and to practice together. Okay, so I mentioned modeling. So while I'm reading during the read aloud, I am modeling think alouds. So I'm pausing and showing habits of good readers and showing them how my thoughts work in responding to the story and applying those reading strategies, and they can see the process of what they should be thinking about while they're comprehending a story. So I focus on one reading skill a week. So I read a picture book over 5 days. So I use these interactive read-alouds during my shared reading, which is the first 10 to 15 minutes of my reading block each day, and then we go into reading centers. So during that shared reading time, we're reading a picture book a little bit each day. So the interactive read-aloud focuses on one reading skill or strategy over the whole week. So at the beginning of the week, I'm really modeling for them what the skill looks like. And then it becomes very interactive, that I'm showing how I respond to the story and they're responding to the story with us. And it really creates that talking about text environment. So I use characters that I call the Comprehension Crew to teach the strategies during these interactive read-alouds. So here's a couple of my characters. There's some hanging on the board behind me. So how I use these characters during the read-aloud is that they each have a specific sentence frame that they use when they're reading their story and using their strategy, and then the students and I use them when we're applying that strategy. Like for example, Twin the questioner, this is her sentence frame. So while we're reading and I'm pausing to show those think alouds, I'm using this sentence frame to show them that I'm focused on asking questions. And then when they raise their hand and they're interacting with the text, they can use that sentence frame to help them. So they aren't as nervous about raising their hand, talking about their text. It keeps them more focused. They know what they're going to say. They get in a routine and a pattern for how to use these reading strategies. And then they use them when they're independently reading and reading text on their level. So I'm going to show you a little what this looks like. So while we're reading, I would stop and say, I noticed this picture. I always have the sentence frames posted for them. I would say, I wonder what they're saving money for. And I would continue reading. I wonder why some days she has a lot of tips and other days she only has a little tips. So as we go through and read and the students start to notice the pattern for how I'm thinking about the pictures and the text, and I'm interpreting them to ask my questions or whichever reading strategy we're working on, then they start to take that over. And our interactive read-aloud time becomes a time that I am reading to them and they are talking and sharing. They are thinking about the book. They're engaging with the book. They're really applying all of their reading strategies to get the most out of this book and practice their reading comprehension together. It's a really special time. So now I'm going to make a few more videos that are coming up. I'll link them below about planning an interactive read-aloud, what a day looks like, what certain books look like, how we can use the different reading strategies in an interactive read-aloud. So let me know what questions you have, because I'm happy to answer them. I'll link blog posts I have below too about how I use these sentence frames to get my students really talking about the text and engaging with the text. I just wanted to give you a little overview of what the interactive read-aloud looks like in my room. Do you think that's something you would like to use in your room? I've seen a lot of great benefits of it. Students gain so much confidence in talking about text and even reading the text and understanding it because they have that routine sentence frames that they know that they can raise their hand and they know what to say. So it really helps build that confidence, and they're excited and they're having fun and we're reading the books together, and it makes such a special time day to day that they're excited to keep reading the picture book and find out what's going to happen next and go back to our character and use them to help us read. It's one of my favorite times of the day. So let me know what questions you have and how I can help you use this in your classroom. Thank you.